Okay, so I was gonna do this as a cell phone video, but it just take way too long and I can't compress all this into one thing. I would have my friend drop a rant video for this, but honestly, I've actually had crazier dreams than this, and I want to wait until I have one of those for my friend to illustrate it, or just go back to one of the old ones I have written down or whatever. Um, anyways, here's the dream that I just had. And I promise you, I'm not making any of this up. I'm not embellishing it, anything else like that. This is 100% what I just had as a dream, not 15 minutes ago. So, anyways, um, the dream starts off, and I'm actually going to a video game tournament. And you have to bring your own controller and all this stuff. It's actually a rhythm games tournament. And the thing is, though, is that at the tournament, the game I was entering for was a game that didn't exist in reality. It was like a mix of like Step Mania and DJ Hero and Beat Mania, if that makes any sense at all. It was some weird mix of them, sort of like O2 Jam was in there too. I don't really know how to explain it. But the odd thing is that at the tournament, there was a bunch of people who were also competing in a martial arts tournament, like right by the rhythm game machines. And for some odd reason, even though I wasn't entering, I brought my Taekwondo outfit. So I was like, and in the dream, I was also a yellow belt instead of an orange. And I don't even think yellow belts exist in Taekwondo, do they? I'm not sure about that. But anyways, or maybe they do. I have poor memory on that. But anyways, so the people at the Taekwondo thing were all like practicing, it was just a martial arts tournament. It wasn't straight Taekwondo, but they're all practicing on this mat that's right by the rhythm game machines, and they're from like all different countries. So I'm kind of like, what? And that's the thing too, is when I looked at them, like a little HUD popped up around them, showing like what nationality they were from, what nation they were from, and all that stuff. What their name was, and then above them a bunch of medals, similar to like ones you'd see in the military, except they were all for achievements they'd done as martial artists. Yeah, seriously. So I'm like, and this doesn't even phase me in the dream. This is completely normal to me. And so everything's going on like that. Everything's normal. Well, all of a sudden, it cuts to me being in a hotel room. And my dreams do this frequently. They kind of like will jump to something completely off topic at first, but then all of it gets interconnected at the end. So it jumps to me in a hotel room, and for some reason, this guy, like, it's like in the past or something like that. I can't really tell because, like, my personality is totally different. And, or it may not even be me. This part of the dream's a little bit hazy. But this, like, mafia dude is pushing me around. He's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass and take your money and steal everything you own, and I'm gonna rename you. And like he wanted to rename me he wanted to rename me Ken, not like Street Fighter Ken, but just Ken. I don't get that. Anyways, so he shoves me in the bathroom, and when this dream's going on, like a lot of my other dreams, I'm simultaneously myself in the dream, but I'm also watching the dream like it's a movie. So I usually somehow, as the viewer, have information that the characters in the dream don't. And in this dream, I knew already that there was this assassin going around who fit himself into toilets and actually went from toilet to toilet killing people by squeezing himself down to the tube like a rubber man. Seriously. He was completely bald, had like pink skin and all this stuff, and every time he'd appear in my dream, there'd be like this dun dun like foreboding music, and then the camera would like pan over and like show him like slowly popping his body out of the toilet, which sounds fucking hilarious, but it was actually menacing as hell in the dream. It wasn't creepy, it was just like, foreboding. So he comes out of the toilet and apparently kills me because the next scene, it fades to black and it goes to the next scene showing a skull in the toilet with blood on it, stained somehow. I don't know how that happens when the toilet's got water in it, but so then you hear the news reports and they're all like, "Oh, the toilet assassin is struck again. We don't know how he does it. He apparently kills his victims though because the skull is always left behind," and all this stuff. So it goes back to the video game tournament, and people are just playing like usual. I guess it's just a scene change for whatever reason. Goes back, and I'm flashing, and I don't have any clothes on, like I'd just been respawned in a like old 16-bit game. Although I don't think you had no clothes in those games. So for some reason, I know the mob guy isn't there. So I run out and I get my clothes on, which apparently I have a really hard time figuring out which clothes are mine for some reason. And all of a sudden, I deduct some crazy plan to like get the mob boss. And this is again one of those things where like, as the person watching the dream, even though it's me doing the plan, I'm not told what this plan is, so I'm left in the dark. So all of a sudden, I rush out of the hotel room, and I see the hotel's on an island, and I go to the ocean, and I just sit there for like literally 15 hours. I like it, the day scene goes into night really quickly type thing, and then it's day again. So I guess 24 hours even. And the mob guy comes down, and all of a sudden you can see this dude with me who's like some sort of stoner dude. And also note that in this, like most of my other dreams, everything has like cinematic angles. Like when I was running from the hotel, it was like an aerial view and all that stuff, like showing a pan around of the island and everything all dramatic. So yeah, this really happens in my dreams all the time. I swear to God it does. So the mob boss comes down. And he's like, I think we can work out a deal. This is very appealing, whatever. And it's a different guy than before. So I'm not really sure why I want to kill this guy, but the toilet guy's with him. And all of a sudden, he doesn't recognize me, even though he just killed me and I came back to life. So I don't know why that is either. But maybe it's not even me, like I said. This is what I remember. So my memory's a little bit hazy on it. So the guy comes down, and for some reason, he's got a bunch of women with him, too, who are assumedly prostitutes because of what happens next. And the guys swim down, like really down. Like it goes to like one of those scenes in movies where it shows like fading from person's face to face while they wait for something. Like this happened, I guess they're swimming for like 3 fucking hours or something like that. And they finally come back up with like a suitcase full of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And like, this is very good, man. Your cut will be $100,000 and here's a bunch of marijuana to smoke. And so it goes into like a stoner scene with like stoner music. And everybody's smoking weed, even though I've never even smoked it in my life. And like little cartoonish green puffs are coming out from everybody's mouths. And all the while, it switches to scenes of women giving the guy's head underwater. And for some odd reason, during this, everybody is drawn as like a really, really crude, like 2-dimensional picture. Like only the sexual organs are, though. So that's some Freudian stuff there, I guess, or Freudian stuff there. I don't know what that's about, because that's never happened in a dream before, that cartoonish stuff or whatever. Anyways, so that happens. And all of a sudden, we kill the mob dude and the railroad guy. I don't know how we do it, but we do it somehow. And then we run away, and we're all like, yeah, man, we did it, high five. So it goes back to the tournament. And they're still doing a different game. And I wanted to get into the Taiko no Tatsujin tournament they had, but I didn't sign up in time. And so I got kind of irritated about that because like I really wanted to be in a tournament for that. So it goes back to my house, my actual real house in real life. And now a different mob guy, the guy who shoved me in the room originally, he's there. And he's not one of the guys I killed or whatever. So he's waiting around for me, I guess. So somehow I know when he's going to leave the house. So I run into the house, and I'm not sure why, because I'm trying to escape from him or whatever else. And he's taking over my house and everything I own and all this stuff. And I get the keys to my van, and I go outside, and for some reason, I didn't notice this before, but my van drove right into my front porch and just absolutely crumpled, like literally cartoonishly crumpled. Like the entire front end of it was just compressed and shattered all over the place. So I'm like, well, that's okay because I have a second van. Because at some point in this dream, I somehow cloned my van. This made logical sense to me in the dream, of course. So I run over to get into it, and this dude barrels out of nowhere, and now he's like 5 times bigger, and he's basically like physique like the Hulk, except not green. So I'm like, holy fucking shit, So I start picking up objects all around me, and it's like a boss battle type thing, like atmosphere. And I'm trying to like break rakes over his head and his body and bats and everything, and nothing's working. He's just like, doesn't even bother me. So I start calling for help to people nearby who are walking down the street like nothing's going on. Even though there's a van literally smashed up my front lawn or my front porch. And there's a dude being chased by a guy that's about like 10 feet tall in the middle of the day, people walking by, just like, who cares? So this grandma walks by, and I'm like, call the cops, and she covers her face and, like, runs off. And I'm like, God damn it, you asshole. And so this continues on for a little while, and it keeps on switching from day to night for some reason. Not sure why. This kid on a skateboard comes up, though, and I don't know if, like, I know him somehow or something like that, but, like, when I see him, we basically make a plan up without talking to each other. Like, we have one of those things in, like, you know, stories where it's like, oh, like, ingenuity out of nowhere, you know, like MacGyver type shit, you know. So, so, anyways, we think of a plan, but again, as the movie viewer, I don't know what this plan is, even though I'm doing the plan, which makes no sense probably, but that's how weird my dreams are. So, the plan starts off where I try and get into another van, a different one, and it's a huge Toyota, and I am trying to start it up with my keys that I have for it for some reason, and the dude's barreling after me, so I can't get it started up in time. So what I do somehow is I trip him into the open hood of the Toyota with the engine and everything running still. And all of a sudden, a hose appears in the engine running from the outside. And that's when I yell to the kid, do it now, you know, and all that stuff. And so he turns on the water, and through dream logic, this electrocutes the mob dude. And so here's where the dream gets really fucking crazy. You thought it was crazy before, it goes right off into the stratosphere right here. All of a sudden, right before the hose is turned on, you hear this guitar being played out of nowhere. Like the intro to like a really epic song, like like a high-pitched kind of like just constant strumming, you know, but like with nothing else. And so once the hose is turned on, you hear a motorcycle. And I'm not making this up. I swear to God, this is like what I wanted to talk about this dream, because this is one of the more ridiculous things. But there's been way more ridiculous shit that's happened than this, but this is one of the crazier things I can say in recent dreams that have happened. Jack Nicholson comes in on a motorcycle. Now, in his outfit, he's wearing the outfit that Michael Jackson did in Thriller, and he's got a constant expression of his lower face like he did in The Shining when he stuck his face right up to the door, you know, when he's grinning, that iconic picture. So the only thing that ever changes are his eyes, which stay in that same expression, but they blink. That's about it. So he's got that expression, but he's got Kiss-type makeup on. Like any of the band members of Kiss, just imagine a average Kiss makeup just put on his face. And that's what he's doing. So he's got Kiss's makeup with the expression he's got in the Shining picture, with Michael Jackson's Thriller outfit on, and he's riding a motorcycle. And he's the guy who is playing the guitar. And he's on a wheelie. I'm not just adding facts in here. I'm just saying them one by one so you can kind of take this in. So he's playing guitar, doing a wheelie on a motorcycle in that whole outfit. And he's doing like this crazy guitar solo, like and all this stuff, you know. But it's like what you'd expect to hear at the end of like a 90s or an 80s movie guitar. So it's not like today's like, you know, it's like 80s or 90s like metal guitar solos. So think about one of those. Basically something from like, I don't know, like Judas Priest is like a good example. Like it sounded like the Painkiller solo basically. So 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 this is going on while the guy's getting electrocuted, and the camera's like panning around like 360 degrees while me and the kid are like standing by him doing air guitar and apparently adding to like the song. And we're singing too, and it's all like high-pitched stuff too, you know, like crazy ass like hair metal like high-pitched stuff. And at this point I actually think, well, we're coming to the end musical sequence and we beat the bad guy, which means there must not be much left in the movie, which means I probably missed my rhythm game tournament. But oh well, it was still a good movie anyways, you know. And I actually think this in the dream, believe it or not. And so, right as Jack plays the last note of the solo, I wake up and my alarm goes off 10 seconds later. And that was my dream. There's a few parts I cut out that like were subtle things about the dream and stuff like that, but that's pretty much the majority of it. So yeah, that's again a pretty normal dream for me, minus the Jack Nicholson craziness thing at the end. So yeah.